Guys, bear with me here. I'm having trouble. Whoo! Ha! Ha ha! What's going on, guys? You guys are tuning into the Night Crew podcast, where we shine a light on the people, the stories, and the realities that come alive after dark. I'm your host, Eric, a night shift lifer, a private security vet, and an owner, and someone who has seen the industry from the inside. Tonight, we're celebrating April, the month of autism, in a podcast, reading between the lines, autism and private security response.
The Night Crew stands where fear falls, and we protect every mind, every story, every night, every night. Out on patrol where the silence speaks, reading the room, not just the streets. Respect the spectrum, move with grace. Not every stare's a threat in your face. Out on patrol where the silence speaks, reading the room, not just the streets. Respect the spectrum, move with grace. Not every stare's a threat in your face.
Oh. What's going on, guys? You guys are tuning into the Night Crew podcast. And tonight, we're back on Rise. Okay. Last week, we had a Blueberry, I believe. And, gosh, it was Blueberry, but there's a Berry Blast or something like that. And tonight, Cherry Limeade. Oh, it's a pull for me every time on these. Oh, yeah! Yeah! Great! Wow. Same milligrams of caffeine, 200 milligrams of caffeine. Great tasting. If you guys work night shifts, I'm telling you guys, this is definitely something that's going to keep you guys, I would say, focused, aware. If you guys are having that 3 a.m. slump crash, this may help you with it for the time being. And it's also great tasting. Okay, like I don't even want to stop drinking. I want to keep drinking it, but if I keep drinking it, then we're wasting time. And that's what's something what we all don't really have these days. Okay. So tonight, we're on a special one tonight. Okay, we have a special guest that's going to be coming on the next show, and I wanted to kickstart Autism Awareness Month with our podcast, and to help those in the private sector better understand a very unique group, and those that are in that unique group are those that are. I don't like to call it suffering. I don't believe it's suffering at all. Okay, someone said, "Oh, they're suffering from autism." No, they're not. They're having the time of their life. They're doing okay for themselves. In April, and I just really wanted to take a moment to speak directly to all my security brothers and sisters out there. And if you guys have ever been on posts and you've seen someone acting off, not responding, pacing, maybe flailing or flapping their hands, or making loud noises, and you're like, "The hell, what's going on with this guy?" And your brain starts running, and the usual suspects, right? The drugs, mental health, maybe they're opposing a threat to public safety. But here's what I've learned. Over the years, and not just in private security. Okay, I've actually been very aware of autism, and how it impacts some people, and And before I get into it on the autism side, I had to learn the hard way in private security, working with that special group. I mean, although that I've been around those with autism, and I've taken care of kids that were autistic, it still doesn't. It's nowhere near compared to when I'm in uniform and I'm working private security, because my brain is wired a little bit differently, especially working at nights. So yeah, I may misdiagnose something. I may miss something, and come to find out the whole time they're just autistic. And and um and a lot of you guys that work the private sector are not very familiar with autism. Okay. And um and if we're not trained to recognize it, and we don't just slow ourselves down sometimes, because sometimes our mind gets wired to one thing, and then we're on that one track mind, and all we do is just fixate on that. Oh, he's definitely on drugs. Oh, drug addict. Matt, look at that guy nodding off doing this. Let's see it. But we could seriously mess up a situation that never needed to escalate if we don't slow down a little bit, and take a little time to assess the situation. Now, what is autism? And autism is it's called autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. And I don't know anyone in this damn world that uses ASD. Oh, he has ASD. I'm sorry. Never heard of it. And it's not considered a mental illness, and it's not something you can cure. It's a different way a person's brain is wired, and it affects how they communicate and how they experience their surroundings and how they connect socially. Um, some are nonverbal, others are verbal but very direct. Oh, all right, very. Some that have autism are verbal and functioning. Um, they will tell you exactly what they think, and they have no filter, which I love them for it. Tell me I'm ugly. Just be honest with me. And some may flap their hands. They may make noises. They may zone out.
The only defense is
When they start to get overwhelmed, and us, you know how sometimes we get overstimulated, right? Sometimes we get overstimulated, and we just want to crawl up in a ball, right? And we don't want to answer a phone. We don't want to be around people. And think about that as someone that has autism, but has it 20 times worse than you do. Okay. Um, and some may have that near genius attention to detail, and be quiet as a whisper. And I can go on and on about how I feel about people that have autism, and I love people that have autism. I love learning about them. I love meeting them. I love talking to them. It's a really good experience. And if you guys ever run into someone that has autism, it would be great to connect with those people. They're a great group, to work with. Um, but what makes it hard with autism is you can't always see it. You know, there's no one has an autistic look. And you might pass a neurodivergent person every day and never know it. You know, and that's why I want to build awareness, and I want us to not have sympathy. Okay, don't feel sorry for them. I love people with autism. Okay, and they love being autism, being autistic. All right, I'm sorry. I've never seen that one angry autistic person. Um, so to build awareness and not sympathy, and have a true understanding, because in our work, and how we read someone's behavior can be different between a peaceful outcome and a 911 call gone sideways. I prefer to just have a nice peaceful outcome and an understanding at the end of my interaction with people than have to call 911. And if you guys don't already know me, I don't call 911 for nothing. They call on me first. They do me the favor. Now, let me give you guys an example. Okay. A couple years back, okay, I was patrolling a property, and I got a call from one of the property managers, and they called me about a suspicious person. And when I arrived, the he had no shoes, he had a hoodie over his head, he was pacing back and forth, he was talking to himself, and certain parts he got louder, and certain parts he started whispering. It wasn't odd, but it was something that I didn't recognize. And they said that this guy, I was like, and I was asking, I was before I saw all this, I had called and asked. I said, what is he doing? Oh, he's just standing there. He doesn't have any shoes on, and it's very suspicious. And so when I go over there, um, I go and approach him, and he's just standing there, you know. And I'm like, hey, I was like, hey, can I help you with something? Are you okay? And he displayed no eye contact. Okay. And remember, I told you I worked with kids that had autism, and in this instance, I couldn't even it didn't even cross my mind, you know, because the area that I was in, we dealt mainly with transient and homeless. So as I'm talking to him, his caregiver, might have been his grandmother, she comes out. She says, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, talking to this person that I believe is homeless. He's not homeless. He's autistic. I'm like, gosh damn, I didn't know. How am I supposed to know? And when I approached him, although I was not aggressive with him, I was asking him questions and I was repeating it. It made him very, very uncomfortable. Okay. And we have this thing, it's called stimming. And I'll get into stimming in a little bit. But one of the signs is he was kind of rocking back and forth. He was going like this, and I was like, all right. And like I said, in my experience in dealing with people with autism, it just went over my head on this one. And then that was a few years ago, and I still think about that till this day. I'm like, how could I miss that? I'm an expert. Not an expert, but and some other common encounters is autistic kids who bolt. If you guys have seen this, and you guys don't know, you guys just see a kid. So you see kids as you're going your grocery shopping, or maybe you guys work the private sector, and you guys see kids bolting out into the parking lot. And it's called eloping, and not like getting married eloping, but like eloping as a symptom for those with autism. And it's not because they're being disobedient. Being It's not because they're being disobedient, but because they don't feel safe or they feel hyper focused on a sound or an object. So if they hear maybe a car alarm going off, they may run to that car alarm and be fixated on that sound. It's very interesting. And and adults repeated phrases loudly. They use phrases loudly. It's called uh echolalia. And then also someone ignoring questions. So, and when they're ignoring questions, they might be processing the language slower, okay, or are completely overwhelmed. So when you continue asking, the series of questions. Hey, can I help you with something? Hey, what are you doing? Hey, can I help you? This is not, and you're starting to overwhelm because now you're putting too much in their mind to think about, and now it's starting to overwhelm them, and they're getting now they're starting to get very, very anxious. So just, FYI. Now I'm gonna be with you guys. Um, it's not easy when when as it relates to security guards. And I believe this is a challenge for those that work in the private sector. And most of us, not all, okay, not all, but most of us get trained in and get trained in assessing threats. Okay, but we don't get trained in neurodiversity, and we work long hours. Sometimes we a lot of times we work by ourselves, and we don't always have backup. And we're conditioned to react fast, but when it comes to autism, fast reaction can backfire. As I told you, I walked up to that kid, guns blazing, asking him questions, and that overwhelmed him, and he started to stim, and because he was uncomfortable. And thank God, his caretaker showed up because we would have both been in trouble. Okay. Um, a lot of challenges that private security face when it relates to dealing with people with autism is lack of training. And most companies don't teach you how to deal with autism. We're and most of the times most of the time private security is flying blind unless unless we take it upon ourselves to train ourselves and learn about autism. And misreading behavior. Silence gets read as resistance. Okay. And stimming is seen as instability. And overstimulating environments, lights, radios, commands, they cause panic for someone with sensory sensitivity. Okay. Sometimes things are too loud. Um, and sometimes the lights are too bright. Sometimes there's too much movement, and that for someone that has is very very um, sensory sensitive, they may start to react and get overstimulated. Um, and the command and control mindset, we're taught to give, in security, we're taught to give clear orders. Um, but autistic people need extra time and a different approach to respond. Okay, they can't not respond with your clear with their straight edge questions. Or you ask them to do something because they have to process it through. They have to stop, and then they may respond. And I get it. Sometimes we just want to get through our shift. All right. I mean, 3 o'clock hits. Oh, come on, baby. I'm almost there. But if we don't learn to recognize the signs, we're doing not just a disservice to the public, we're doing a disservice to ourselves and putting ourselves at risk. Autism is a neurodevelopmental condition, and it shows up differently in every person. And some people are nonverbal, like I had previously explained, and some speak in a flat tone. Some repeat words or phrases. Some avoid eye contact. Some not out of guilt, but because they're overstimulated. A lot of times, a great, a great, one of the common um things you can find in someone that has autism, a sign is their eye contact. Okay. Now, if they're deliberately, as you're talking to them, they deliberately have their head down to the ground, staring at the ground. Not all the times, but it's a great indicator that this person may have autism. And when you guys are out there on the field, okay, you guys might dot 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 see repetitive movements like rocking or tapping, pacing back and forth, tapping, 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 rocking. Sometimes you see them rocking, going like this. Delayed responses or no response at all. Sometimes when you're talking to them, their responses are very delayed, or it takes you a while. It almost seems like you ask them a question, and that question goes through a whole factory, and then you have to wait for the package to come out and get dispensed. If that's the best, I guess it's the best way I could do it. Um, Sensitivity to light, noise, crowds, difficulty understanding sarcasm or jokes or a tone. Sometimes you may joke and they may not laugh. You may joke and they go like, ha, 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 just because they don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. Now, think about that in our world, right? Now, what do we tend to do when someone avoids eye contact? We say, oh, they're rude. Jerk. We think they're lying. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see what's going on here. So I went through a Wicklander Dulaski, and it's a basic interview and interrogation techniques, and that's what they give the FBI and detectives, and it shows us signs of when someone may be lying to us, and it's signs that you cannot, um, it's signs that a human body can't get away with. Okay, if they're nervous, and everyone has behaviors, and so when they're lying, and sometimes we may mistake that as they're lying if we ask them a question, and they're avoiding eye contact, or they're going like this, or going like that, or they're fixated with something else. It's not because it's not because they're lying. It's because they're autistic. Um, and if we're asking someone something and they're not answering us, we're like, yo, dude, I'm asking you a question. What's your name? How many times I gotta ask you? And then what happens? We assume that they're being defiant. They're not listening. We assume that they're being that they're being difficult. Okay. And that's not that, and that's in our lens. That's what we see. This is what we see. That's good lens. And it's not their reality. But we got to stop taking these behaviors personally and start seeing them for what they are. Um, and when doing field assessments, I want to tell you guys what to look for and how to handle it. Now, what you guys may see on shift, you guys may see someone pacing and someone walking in tight circles. Okay, you might see someone repeating words over and over, and you may see someone suddenly covering their eyes or squinting under lights. Some not speaking or answering questions directly, moving their hands or their arms in repetitive ways. Going like this. Or going like this, going there. It's um, and when you guys see that, you guys do not want to crowd them. Don't bark orders. Do not force eye contact or touch them subtly. Please do not touch someone with autism. Okay? Don't touch people with autism. And don't take their behavior as disrespect. Okay? And what should you do? Speak calmly, use short, direct sentences. One thing at a time. As in, hi, how are you? I'm Eric. And then wait for them to respond. They may not give you their name. They may not respond in the way you want to. It's gonna happen. Give them space. And don't get in their personal bubble. They don't like you being in their bubble. Okay? And be patient and give them time to respond when you're asking them a question. And if someone's with them, ask, is everything okay? Or do they need help communicating? And if you guys suspect autism, slow the situation down instead of speeding it up. Okay? Slow it down. Just nice. It's honestly, we got 8 hours on our shift. I'm pretty sure you guys got a little time. Jeez. And because the moment you guys try to control a situation that doesn't need to be controlling, that's where things are going to fall apart. Um, in autism world, they call it meltdowns. So meltdowns is if they're not comfortable or they're overstimulated, they may start hitting themselves. They may start hitting you. And so those are things that we have to look out for and be very, very aware of. My neighbor has her grandson's autistic, and so sometimes I can hear them screaming. So I'll go over there and say, "Is everything okay?" And she says, "No," because he had a meltdown. Because They're very, very people that have autism are very, very they're always on time. I hate that. Guys, I hate people with autism sometimes. They're always on time. Okay? If you say 1:00, they will be there at 1:00. So, please, they're very, very serious with time. So, if you guys ever work with people with autism, do not give them the wrong time. Please don't. Melt down. I'll give you guys a little story. So, there's a years ago, I dated some girl, and her daughter was autistic. And so when she finally started to get comfortable with me, she started letting me, pick her up from school. And one day we switched it up on her, and I wasn't supposed to pick her up on Tuesday. Grandma was supposed to pick her up on Tuesday because I pick her up on Wednesday. But Grandma had a doctor's appointment, so guess what? Eric went to go pick her up on Tuesday. And she sees me, and she has this crazy look. And she's like, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Oh, I'm here to pick you up." "No, you're not. Grandma is. Grandma's here to pick me up." I said, "Well, I'm sorry. It's unfortunately she had to go to a doctor's appointment. I'm not going with you because you're today's not your day. You can pick me up on Wednesday, but you can't pick me up on Tuesday. Tuesday is for Grandma." I was like, "Please, I just need you to just get in the goddamn car, please." Testing my patience. And so eventually we had to call mom. Mom said, "Yes, I'm sorry. We had to go through a whole thing because she almost had a meltdown and she was getting ready to start. She was ready to start hitting herself." And I was like, "Oh, please, please don't do that because I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start hitting myself too." And after that, I took her to McDonald's and I said, "Hey, you want a snack wrap?" She wanted snack wrap. She wanted to make sure it was healthy. If it's not healthy, she don't want it. So I got her snack wrap, and then we lived happy ever after. Okay, everyone's fine. Everyone happy. Okay. All right. So let me shift some gears here, because knowledge without action doesn't mean anything. Okay. And how do we do better? And we're gonna observe, then we're gonna engage. We're gonna slow down. If someone's not doing anything illegal or harmful, watch them for a minute. That's what we do, right? We observe and report. Look for context. Are they distressed? Or are they just different? Is there something about them that may seem out of place or may seem odd, where they're not on drugs? They just seem to be just different from a normal person, I guess. And speak clearly and calmly. Avoid slang, sarcasm, or rapid fire commands. And you guys can always start off with, "Hello, my name's Eric. I work security here. Are you okay?" And one instruction at a time, please. Don't stack 5 commands. Just say, "Can you please sit down?" And then pause and then let them process it. Everything is steps, baby steps. Respect their personal space. Do not rush in. Physical proximity can threaten an autistic person and make them feel threatened, make them feel uncomfortable. And do not take it personal. They're not being difficult on purpose. They're navigating a world that's often not built for how their brains work. Okay. And if you guys are unsure, ask for help. If you suspect someone is autistic and is starting to escalate because they had a meltdown, okay? One of those steps you missed or you didn't do right. Call someone who's trained, maybe medical, or if there's a caregiver nearby. Don't call the police, because don't do that. Do not call the police. Got some stories. And for the companies that are out there, I think it's important for you guys to train your guards. Just maybe a few hours of autism awareness can really help you guys prevent so much destruction or harm. One more thing that we don't talk about enough, and some of our own that work in the private sector are autistic. I worked with a guard who struggled with sarcasm. and he didn't really do great in high traffic posts. But if you give them, but if when he had a structured routine, he did amazing. He never missed detail. Very oriented. Never got distracted. Neurodivergence can be a superpower if the role fits. I mean, I'm telling you, I believe that people that have autism are one of the smartest people in the world. Okay, they have one thing about them that's amazing, and that's what I think is a beautiful thing about those with autism is because they're very calm, very collected, very chill, and they're very detail oriented on certain things. um and and if you guys are a supervisor, you guys own a company, learn how to lead with empathy. Okay, some guards may not be bad fits. They just need to be, some of them just need clear expectations and a little space to thrive. All right. Um, there's a story, you know, and I really hate, I really hate to find stories like this, because it hurts, it really hurts my heart. So there is a story that happened in Virginia in June 2024. And it was this autistic kid. His name was Ben, and he was shopping with his family, and he used the store's restroom. On his second trip to the restroom, the store manager got suspicious of Ben because he wasn't buying anything. They thought he was stealing, and the store instructed the security guard to remove him. And the security guard's name was Ramos, and he did not identify himself. His name was John Ramos. And John Ramos did not identify himself as a security at first and banged on the locked stall door, ordering Ben to leave. Ben, who has autism and likely did not understand what was going on, shouted that he was using the restroom still. The guard then unlocked the stall with a key and entered. Come on, man. Finding Ben with his pants down, startled, Ben tried to shut the door and pulled away. The guard kicked the stall door and grabbed Ben. Ben panicked and allegedly struck the guard, upon which the guard punched the teen, threw him on the ground, and handcuffed him. Ben was marched out of the restroom bleeding profusely. He sustained a black eye, needed stitches, and even lost a front tooth in the struggle. Blood was visible on the walls of the floor. His mother, Jessica, rushed to him to find her son crying and injured, and immediately confronted the guard. The incident did not end there. Police got called. But it was Ben who initially faced a charge. John Ramos, a security guard, filed a criminal complaint accusing Ben of a simple assault on a security officer. However, local news coverage by investigation team brought the incident to light, casting doubt on the guard's actions amid public scrutiny. The security company instructed Ramos to drop the complaint, and days later in the court, he did just that. No charges were pursued against Ben. Photos of the teen's injuries were aired on TV, prompting public outrage and calls for better training of private security dealing with people with invisible disabilities. The store groceries owner apologized, saying, "We didn't want to use force on any customers." Well, they did. And claimed he hadn't known Ben was autistic. Ben's family, while relieved he wasn't prosecuted, said they would never shop at that store again and were considering further action. The case fueled discussion in Virginia how autism related behaviors, like taking longer restroom breaks, can be misinterpreted, and highlighted the need for de escalation over force. Now, that is just one of the many situations that have occurred for people that were confused with how autism works. And I don't even want to call it confused. I want to just say ignorant. Ignorant on how autism works and how autism is, and didn't even the takeaway from this, guys. There's 5 things that this guard did everything wrong. Okay? What the guard could have done was he could have waited for the kid to get out of the restroom. Okay? He had no business sticking I'd probably say a flathead screwdriver or a knife to open up the bathroom stall. Okay? As it relates to privacy. Okay? Even when I used to work loss prevention, I couldn't just barge into the stall and say, "Hey, freeze, thief." I had to wait for them to get out of the restroom, and then after that, observe if any signs of theft, if I noticed it. If I saw wrappers or anything on the ground, then I can say, okay, this person may have stolen. And that's another thing about security. You guys, sometimes, you guys are people pleasers. The manager says, "Hey, they're stealing." You're like, "Oh God, yeah, you're right. She's stealing." But without even investigating it. We want them gone from the store. No, you need to figure that out. When people hire us for security, they're hiring an expert. Okay? I'm not going to listen to someone tell me to do something until I've assessed every situation. Okay? If someone says, "Hey, that kid went to the restroom, he's stealing," I need to investigate it myself. I can't just go based off of someone else's secondhand information. Ew, gross. I need to see it for myself. Okay? I need to sit there and see, this kid's been in the bathroom for a long time. Let me see if he's okay. "Hey, excuse me, are you okay?" And he can say, "Yes, I'm using the restroom." If the kid uses the restroom, go after that, you look at him, you assess him, and then you go back into the stall to see if anything looked a little bit out of the ordinary. And then you follow him and see what kind of behaviors he exhibits. Maybe if he sat there and observed the behaviors that he exhibited, he would have noticed that maybe something was off about this kid. You guys can say that autism is an invisible disability, but it's not. It's a disability that requires patience. And if you're patient enough to look, you can see something may be wrong with this kid. But no, he decided to take matters into his own hands. So there's a lot of lessons to be learned in working with the sensitive group of those that are going through autism. Autism isn't something to be afraid of. Okay, it's not a problem to fix. It's not a part of a human experience. And when you're out there in uniform and you're walking past your post, remember, you're not just protecting property, you're protecting people, all people. So I want you guys to take what you guys learned tonight and bring this on your next shift. And if you guys got stories, you guys have questions or thoughts, hit me up. Let me know. Talk to me. I want to hear from you guys. This podcast isn't just mine. It's for all of us in the Night Crew community. And I want you guys to also be a part of this as well. And if you guys have any questions, I want you guys to hit us up on our Instagram at the Night Crew. I'm sorry, at Night's Watch Patrol. If you guys have any further other questions, you guys can check us out on our link tree and find us at find us, on other. Okay. So guys, it's been real. I hope you guys learned. I hope I got something out of this. And this is going to kickstart our podcast with our buddy Rudy. I just kind of wanted to get through all the fluff and then, and better equip you guys. So next time, so when I do this podcast with Rudy, you guys will be like, "Oh yeah, okay, I get it. Now I got it. All right, cool. All right." Rudy's autistic. And Rudy's a good guy. I love Rudy. I love him so much. Can't say love because you might be like, yeah, I mean, come on, Eric, man, I'm a guy. But so yeah, so Rudy's gonna be with us next week, and we're going to go through a podcast. He's gonna explain to us how autism works, and we're gonna go through some live scenarios, and to help people better understand how autism works and be able to handle a better equip themselves with working with those with autism. And guess what, guys? I got to show this off. But Rudy drew me this picture, okay? And I've been trying to make a patch for this dedicated to him. By this time, we should have been wearing Autism Awareness Month patches. But dealing with all these damn uniform places, none of them seem to. Anyway, I don't want to get started with these people. But we're definitely gonna get these patches made, and we're gonna get them done on behalf of Rudy. And I'll disperse them out. So if you guys are interested and you guys want to buy one, please let me know. And by next year, our patrol officers will be having them for the month of April, and I'm just really excited. I was actually excited last year, but now I gotta wait another year to be excited again. But we're definitely going to get these done a whole lot sooner this time. Now we're working with someone local, so I hopefully definitely this actually works. So all right, guys. For the night is dark and full of terrors.
This was the night crew, real talk, no mask. Catch you in the shadows where we dwell and ask, what if different was the standard?